But first up now, we're going to cross to Melbourne this time and catch up with Labor's Michael Danby. Thanks for joining us, Michael.
Evening, Chris.
Good to have you back on the program. First up, do you think Andrew Nikolic is a good enough MP to be appointed chair of Parliament's Intelligence Committee?
Oh, Chris, come on. He's big, bad, brave Brigadier. Nikolic can take a bit of incoming from a sharp Melbourne QC.
Is he up to the job,
the main thing is
this man who's served 30 years in the Army, is he a decent enough person to be chair of that committee?
He's a decent enough person, and the Liberal Party are the people who choose him, and they're perfectly entitled, since they have a majority in Parliament, to choose who they like. But, you know, he's no wilting flower. He's pretty strident in Parliament, and we're entitled to criticise him too. The most important thing for Australians, and I'm sure you'd appreciate that, is that, like with Tian, Nikolic on the committee has been quite reasonable, and it's only due to Labor's massaging of all of these metadata laws and anti-terrorist laws that they've got through the Senate easily. Something that would be put in jeopardy. Put in jeopardy if our friend Michael Kroger has his way and continues his program with the Greens. If there were Greens on that committee, we wouldn't be able to get any of the changes that are necessary to measure civil liberties.
Look, Michael Kroger, the Greens, yada yada yada. The point is, you agree that Andrew Nikolic is a fine person to head up that committee. Also, you say he's no wilting flower. Of course, he can take criticism. He spent 30 years in the Army. But is your Shadow Attorney General, Mark Dreyfus, out of line then by attacking him as an extreme right-winger?
Not at all. Andrew's very, very loud and proud in the Parliament for the Liberal Party. He's very strident, and he's up for criticism. There's nothing wrong with a bit of criticism. The main thing is we work on the security of Australia together in a serious way, and both of those blokes have shown that they can do it, and it would be put in jeopardy if, and don't say yada yada yada, because Michael Kroger is talking about putting out of business two of our top right-wing strategists, Peter Khalil and David Feeney here, and preferencing to the Greens. So I want to alert the Australian people to the fact that he's doing that, and it should be stopped, and every Liberal should be ashamed of the prospect of giving Greens, who've got no support for national security, preferences.
We'll have to get back to the preferences issue then. I didn't know what you were referencing, but anyway, that's Andrew Nikolic. Apparently he can be a good ex-soldier and a good politician and a good chair of the committee at the same time as he's being denounced by the front bench as an extreme right-winger. I'm glad we've cleared that up. Now, with two former Prime Ministers buying into politics this weekend, both of them talking about what the current Prime Minister should be doing when it comes to economic reform, you must be, you and the Labor Party couldn't believe your luck, eh? You just want to sit back and watch it all unfold.
Well, you know, where's the policy beef now? I mean, people were criticising our opposition leader, Bill Shorten. We've got policies on negative gearing. We've got policies on capital gains tax. We've got fully funded education policies to fund all of the Gonski reforms that all of the states want. It's Bill Shorten who's got the substance, and poor old Malcolm's in a muddle. I want to tell you something, Chris. A very interesting remark was made by a former Abbott minister to a friend of mine just last week in Parliament. He said to him very revealingly, he said, "Now do you know why we fought so hard to keep this bloke out of the leadership?" And I think a lot of the Liberal Party are regretting Malcolm's a waffler, Malcolm's in a muddle, and Malcolm has no substance.
Enough of the free kicks. When it comes to reform stagnation, though, that the country does confront, we've had trouble in the last decade delivering any substantive economic reform. Obviously, Labor's played a role in that as well, with Kevin Rudd dropping his price on carbon, his emissions trading scheme, Julia Gillard breaking her promise not to have a carbon tax. Do you agree with my thesis that what we need is a major party, be it Labor or Liberal, to actually put up a plan before an election and stick to it? It's the only way, surely, to deliver reform with a decent mandate and to bring the public with you.
I think that's true, but we demonstrated when we were in office, as Albo keeps re-emphasising, that even with a mixed Senate with lots of independents there, we were able to get 450 pieces of legislation through. It can be done, Chris, and it should be done. I think one of the problems has been, and people have underestimated that, is the difficulty of getting major economic legislation through the Senate. But I'm convinced a shortened Labor government will be able to do it.
Right, now a couple of other things I want to get from you quickly is you were putting out statements on Friday when Mal Brough surprisingly announced that he's going to be quitting Parliament at the next election. You were referencing the possibility of him facing charges over that Ashbygate affair. It was all very nice. You were saying it was theoretical, but is that what you're suggesting, that the police investigation has gone bad for Mal Brough and that's why he's leaving? We haven't heard from Mal Brough, of course.
Well, of course, the police presented the possibility of those charges. That's why they interviewed him, and we only know that from Mal Brough. The thing we all missed, Chris, was, and of all papers, The Guardian reported it 3 weeks ago, that there's been a subsequent search by the federal police of parliamentary officers in Canberra in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
All right, well, we'll wait and see there. But just, are you saying that this is what's likely to happen? Though it seemed to be what you were suggesting with your rather mischievous statement.
Well, it was mischievous, deliberately so, because I followed the Slipper affair from the beginning, and unfortunately for me, I've been proved right. James Ashby, I saw him every day in Slipper's office in the brief period of his leadership. I saw an amicable relationship. I do not believe the stories that Steve Lewis and everyone put 12 times on the front page of the Daily Telegraph. Lady Di only got nine front pages. Slipper was on the front page 12 times. That was over the top and was designed to destroy that previous Labor government. Ashby said in affidavit to the court that he was not induced to do this by the Liberal Party, and then on 60 Minutes, 6 months later, after the court hearings were over, he said he was induced. And in that contradiction, you're going to find not just Mal Brough, but anyone else who was involved in this affair from the Liberal Party in stealing the Speaker's diary,
we'll wait and
get
see.
into further trouble.
We'll wait and see. We'll see what the police do and see what the courts do. I think Lady Di would have got more front pages in the telly if she played rugby league. But just finally, you've been actually running newspaper ads attacking the government for getting too close to Iran, for being too sanguine in its relationship with Iran. You seem to be playing a lone hand here on this issue. You don't seem to be getting support from your colleagues.
Not at all, Chris.
Wouldn't you be better off attacking your own colleagues, Bob Carr and others in the New South Wales right of the Labor Party, who seem to be taking their antipathy towards Israel to a new level in recent months?
Well, look, there's a disgraceful picture of Bob Carr published in the Fairfax Press over the last few days with a sacred Tibetan artwork presented to him by sort of some Chinese communist leaders in Beijing. But let's put that aside. Julie Bishop criticised quite rightly the missile tests of North Korea. She should have condemned the Iranian missile tests which took place in October and December. Iranian and Hezbollah forces, their stooges, surround Aleppo at the moment as we speak, with 300,000 people besieged in there. It's not right, Chris. The Australian government should, it can have whatever views it likes about this nuclear treaty with Iran, but it doesn't have to go silent on all of the other outrages that Iran is perpetrating all around the world, including the siege of Aleppo, including supporting Hezbollah terrorists, including crazy statements calling for the elimination of the State of Israel. And Tanya Plibersek has called for a parliamentary debate. You're right, not everyone in the Labor Party has as hardline views on Iran as I do, but it's disgraceful that the sanctions on Australia, unlike practically every other Western democracy, are being taken off Iran without any parliamentary debate. And it's not over, Julie. Let me give you the message on TV. The Labor Party is coming for you over this, and there are a few parliamentary tactics we've got left.
All right, we'll try and take that up with Julie Bishop when we get the chance. It's great to have you on the program, Michael, a regular guest, Michael Danby. You are, of course, Parliamentary Secretary to Bill Shorten. I'll ask you again, put in a good word. We'd love to chat to Bill Shorten on ViewPoint. Now that he's doing all right in the polls, maybe he'll join us sometime.
He's looking really good, isn't he? He's, I like his new suits, his new haircut. The whole office is working really well.
Okay. Thanks very much, Michael Danby.